Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Ced It Up Production, and we back again talking about the Bears. And I brought I got my friends back over here. We got Reese in the building, and Terry just left the building. Yo, here come back on, and we had a special guest today. We got my guy from the hood, from my old neighborhood, James, found on the boards right now. What's up with you, boy?
What's happening with you, man? How's it going?
Everything's good. Here come Terry back in.
I don't know. I totally didn't have anything to do with that. It just went out. I could still hear y'all. So let's stop. Let's stop. Don't nobody move. Nobody touch a
Yeah.
cable or wire. Old school.
But
That's
yeah,
why.
it's cool, man. I mean, it happens. It happens. I'm gonna tell everybody right now. What we doing right now, what I'm doing right now, trying to do is get this whole thing together. I mean, we're talking about the Bears, even though it's the off season, but I'm trying to build this up going into the new season, and then we'll have everything tight and ready to go beginning of next season in August, whatever. But we just still doing the knocking these kinks out right quick. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to see what we can do with this. But that being said, I want to start off talking about we're talking about the Bears anyway, but it's starting to be like a headache talking about this. I mean, I go through this every day. I'm getting trolled by people every day. And I started to troll people because I know people think the opposite of me. This Caleb Williams and his Justin Field thing is really starting to wear on me. It started to be like it's like a headache because you're gonna hear about it every day. Every day you're gonna hear about it until actually the draft. Or maybe next week probably hear some things because they said it was gonna make a decision or whatever about next week at the combine or whatever. But that remains to be seen as well. But what I wanted to ask you guys, I mean, what happened this week? Actually, day before yesterday. Justin Fields had removed the Bears from his IG. When you saw that, what was your first reaction? If you saw it or when you heard about it, what was your first reaction? Let's start with you, Reese.
It didn't really bother me too much because of the fact that there was no animosity. Like when Roquan was, in the negotiations with the Bears and it was going south, and then he like threw a tantrum and took it down. To me, that was more telling. But with Fields just, getting off that site, it didn't bother me too much. And then after I heard his reason why, it made perfect sense, because we tired of hearing it and this not our lives. You know what I mean? I
Right.
couldn't imagine sitting up and, every time I, pick up my phone, people talking about whether I'm going here, going there. And then also he didn't follow the NFL anymore either. So I don't think it's anything other than what he said that, he's just trying to free his mind. He in vacation mode. He didn't want to hear anything about football until he, get back from his vacation or whatever.
Gotcha. James, your first reaction when you heard about it? What was your initial reaction when you heard about it? You thought it was like, here you go.
No, honestly, my first reaction was the first reaction was I didn't believe it was true. I thought that people was just trying to create another story. Everybody is out to be the first one to say what's going on. So everybody's rushing to be the first with the new hit. So I just thought it was just more propaganda. But then after and over time, and actually watching him on the St. Brown Brothers show, he actually admitted it, and it wasn't a big deal to me. Like you said before, the explanation, it made sense. But then also you got to remember, Kyler Murray, when he was in negotiations with the Arizona Cardinals, he took everything down. He stopped following them. He took down, anything Cardinal related from his from off his pictures, all his photos and everything. And look what happened. He still ended up signing with the Cardinals and still ended up staying. So
Yeah.
sometimes guys do that as a power play. So it's not a big deal to me. I mean, he still ended up there anyway. So I didn't think that Justin Fields, unfollowing the Bears, made a big difference and he was still there with his Bears uniform on his IG page.
Yeah, and that's what they were saying. I mean, because I follow him on Twitter, and even though he don't too much posting, but my thing is with that was when I first saw it, I was like, uh-oh. I did. I ain't gonna lie. I thought it was more like, uh-oh, here we go. Because that's when you start seeing, because that's the way the world is now. Once you put stuff on your Instagram or your social media, it just take a whole new life or whatever. So I was more like, damn, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna get Terry back on. And when I saw it, I was like, okay, is this gonna be one of those things that he go force his way out since he ain't heard nothing from the Bears? That's when my first reaction was. So but then when I saw the complete whole video of him with the St. John the brothers or whatever, I was like, okay, it ain't bothered me too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, he just trying to get away from it all. Because I like you said, Reese, I can imagine just your feed line, because I know how mine is right now. You know what I'm saying? Just talking about the Bears, and I ain't him. You know
Right, right.
I know he probably get inboxes and stuff like that. But regardless of the fact, if he remove himself from the social media, it's still not gonna mean anything because he's gonna hear about it regardless from his circle, or even if he go on vacation. Where you going? Where you going? I heard this happening. He gonna hear regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So Terry, what was your initial thoughts when you saw him removing himself from the Bears, following the Bears and things like that?
I actually loved it. I love
Uh,
that he did that. I love that he took control of his own situation. Because, like he said, he can't control where he's going to play next year. He wants to play in Chicago, but you got to remember this is a 24-year-old young man, and if we're tired of listening to it, imagine him because
mm,
he's the center of it. So I mean, to remove himself from that, because I could only imagine. I mean, I don't know how many followers he has, but I mean, if you see how our timelines are affected with that situation. So yeah, take it away. Make light of it, and I mean, it looked like he had fun on that podcast. I saw the whole thing, man, and
yeah,
he's just having fun. He's taking it in good nature. This is a guy who knows if I'm not with the Bears, I'm going to be somewhere. I mean, it looks like, I mean, that's why I asked you if you saw the whole interview because they
yeah,
talked about the Atlanta situation. I think he'd rather play. He's highlighting Pittsburgh. He talked about
yeah,
how lit it was, how he how the crowd is there. So I mean, he's taking it in stride. He's not going. I don't think he's going to hold any animosity. He said he'd love to stay here and be a Bear. Of course, I think most Bears fans would love that. But I mean, he can't control it. And I mean, if Kevin Warren and I can't even remember his damn name.
Paul,
Pose,
yeah,
and it's not, and no, I love Pose, and we'll get to that. No, I love Pose, but if they want to go in a different direction, as Bears fans, we may not like it, but we have to trust the process. I hate that term, I hate that saying, but we'll have to trust it and see
yeah.
where it winds up. But I think they're prepared to win now. Justin Fields knows that, and we'll see how it turns out.
My whole thing with the whole situation is like every time something happens, it's a shift of where the Bears leaning, and nobody still know anything. Like when they interviewed for the offensive coordinator position, and the guy who coached Caleb Williams was up for the job. Everybody like, oh, if they get him,
Oh, Cliff Kingsbury.
yeah, they was like, if they get him, the Bears going to sign. They're going to draft Caleb Williams. Then what it is like, if they draft, if they pick up this other coach or whatever, Justin Fields staying. It was like it's going back and forth, back and forth. So then what? That coach went to the Washington. Then he said, oh, that's a sign right there. He's going over there. It's just every week, every day is something different. You know what I'm saying? So it's tiresome, and I know he's getting tired of hearing about it too. So I mean, he can't really get involved. He can't even really talk to the offensive coordinator that they just hired because he don't know what's going on. And he said he's ready to get the playbook. You know what I'm saying? He want to get those playbooks, so he want to get to know the plays and stuff like that. So man, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to decipher how this thing's gonna play out because you just don't never you never know
Someone
what's going
called. I
on.
have to call you back.
So,
Right.
but what you think, James? I mean, your whole outlook on the whole thing. What you thinking?
Well, and I've said this before, decision on Justin Fields and Caleb Williams. I mean, it's really not a Justin Fields or Caleb Williams argument, in my opinion. What I believe is, I think it's a matter of philosophy. Okay, so as a GM, what is your philosophy as far as building a winning organization? Is it getting a generational quarterback and building around that generational quarterback and hoping that because of the amount of money you have to give him, the amount of attention that he get, it'll and he'll have to. It'll be on him to be able to erase some of your flaws and deficiencies as a team. You
Mhm.
know, like for years, like the Aaron Rodgers, the Tom Brady, who never had a real receiving core except for 1 year with Randy Moss. You know, Dan Marino. When you get those kind of generational guys, you know, do you build around that guy? That's one philosophy. The other philosophy is, do you build a great team and generational talent around a good quarterback, a good talented quarterback, not some bum, but a good quarterback,
Mhm.
build a championship team that way. You know, I've always, me myself personally, I've always been on the side of building a team because for me, you know, that 85 Bears team was built around generational talent, built around a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I mean, to a certain extent, even at the 90s Dallas Cowboy team, Troy Aikman was a great quarterback. But how great would he be without that all-time great offensive line? One,
Yeah.
one of the
All
best
right.
running backs, the playmaker Michael Irvin, and that defense with Charles Haley and Deion Sanders and those guys.
Yeah.
You know, the 2000 Ravens. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm on that side of the philosophy. But the bottom line is the only person who philosophy we need to know who which side of that he leans on is Poles. And
Yeah.
he made that clear to any of us. Now I'll say this one thing and I'll let you guys go at it. I don't think there's a wrong answer in either one,
Mhm.
but you have to get this right.
Definitely.
Whichever one Poles believe in and he lean towards, he got to get it right. He can't keep Fields and Caleb going to be some all-time great quarterback and the Bears don't win a Super Bowl. He can't get Caleb and waste Sweat's prime, DJ Moore's prime, and all of that with a young quarterback who never say he never develops properly and they never win. If whatever his decision is doesn't result into a Super Bowl, it's a failure. And
Yeah.
and whatever this decision is for him will be his legacy in Chicago.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's your thought about it, Reese?
Yeah, it's kind of like what you and I was talking before the show started. That once again, I don't think it's a Caleb versus Fields thing. As far as me, if I was the GM, I'm looking to get that haul, you know, and so I'm looking at. I don't want to be dependent on one player, you know. So even if Caleb is a generational quarterback, man, he get hurt. That's your whole season, you know,
Right.
or maybe your window, you know. And so I'm looking at the fact that you got an opportunity to get another haul. You know, the price this year should be higher than what it was last year. You know,
Yeah.
because we got to remember that we got a first round draft pick this year, which is why we have number one pick again. We got other picks, and then we got DJ Moore too. You know,
Yeah.
so that's a haul. So I'm looking at we get a similar haul, and I'm also a little bit more risk adverse. You know,
Mhm.
I'll take the chance on getting a haul and then looking at the floor of Justin Fields as opposed to, you know, putting all my eggs in the one Caleb Williams basket. And we know that the number one draft pick hasn't panned out. You know, even I can just look at the last couple of drafts. The first quarterback wasn't the star. You
Right.
know, it was the second or third quarterback. So I'm not willing to take that chance.
Yeah. What you thinking, Cherry?
To be totally honest with you, and y'all know my feelings, it's and I created this scenario and follow me on it. So two ways this can go. Bears can keep Justin Fields and trade the number one pick, vice versa. The thing is, what are the expectations? Do you, if you draft Caleb Williams, you do the trade, you bring him in. Say, for instance, Caleb Williams comes in and really, has a Hall of Fame career, but gets you to one Super Bowl. I mean, he blows you out the water with stats and numbers. He does exactly what they say he is. He's generational, but he gets you to one Super Bowl. Versus uh, versus Justin Fields playing, not having a Hall of Fame career, having a super solid career. He takes you to four Super Bowls. You win two or maybe three. And I think people in this city are so, not even in this just this city, but fans and people who talk about it, they're more consumed about his numbers, his ability, and what he can do versus what he can actually do in terms of win, loss versus championships. Because everybody, all they talk about are his tangibles, what he can do similar to Mahomes, which that's not even a likely or good comparison. Kyler Murray is more of a likely comparison to him than Mahomes, but that's just me. But like
Mm-hmm.
I say, and then you flip it. You trade the number one pick, and again, same scenario that he goes and has this Hall of Fame career with another team. He wins you one Super Bowl, and again, not Holmes. Goodness
Caleb.
gracious, Justin Fields. No, Justin
Mm-hmm.
Fields.
Mm-hmm.
He does exactly what we want him to do with a stack. Sorry about that. With a stacked team.
Yeah. Well, I think if they could, and I put this in the post. It's kind of funny that we as Chicago Bears fan never had a top quality quarterback. As soon as we get one that we think is going, we got one, we want to get rid of them. And we don't know what we actually have because we haven't built nothing around them until last year when we got DJ Moore. You know what I'm saying? And we still lacking. Um, Everything is starting to come together right now, and the defense started to play like great after the trade deadline. You know what I'm saying? So, and then like I said, Justin Field, he threw for like I think 25, 2,900 yards. He missed 4 games. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's like, and he and Mooney. I want to talk about him later.
Oh my goodness.
I'll talk about him later, but because half of the stuff that the drop passes that was missed was like huge in the game. You know what I'm saying? Could have changed the game completely. Those 7 wins that they got this year could have been could have been like 10. They could have been 10-7 in reality. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I mean, that's neither here nor there. But I debate with people a lot about this stuff, man. But it just don't make no sense.
Let
But
more point. Let me add this one more point with the Justin Fields and Caleb Williams conversation.
mhm,
In the last 30 years, there has been, they say, 32 quarterbacks selected number one. No, selected. It's been 23 quarterbacks selected number one, the first pick of the draft. The
mhm.
number one pick of the draft has been 23. Out of the 23, only 2 has won a Super Bowl for the team that was drafted them.
Mm.
So that lets you know how much of a crapshoot. And you know those 2 guys was Peyton Manning and just drew a blank. But it was Peyton Manning and somebody.
You're not counting John Elway, are you?
No.
Right, because that was
Now,
a draft day trade for him.
yeah, exactly. Even Eli Manning was traded on
Right.
draft. Even Matt Stafford was traded. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So in the last 30 years, only Peyton Manning is one more. Was drafted number one overall and actually won a Super Bowl for the team that drafted them. So we have to get this number one pick. We really don't, man. I mean, if we can get a haul and Justin Fields can improve the way we need him to improve, I'm
Mhm.
okay with the result. Like I said, the Super Bowl is the goal. I don't care to have a Hall of Fame quarterback if he don't get us any wins. I mean,
Right.
how happy is Green Bay really with Aaron Rodgers having one Super Bowl appearance?
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think. Yeah. I think the thing is, and I think we was. I mean, we competitive. I mean, the Bears was competitive. Now it's time for them to take that next step, and I think they got the pieces. I just here's my thing, and I get into it with a few people about it. I like Justin Fields, and I don't think he's a bad quarterback like people are making him out to be. I don't want them to mess up and not get Marvin Harrison Jr., a receiver that you know is going to bring it. You know what I'm saying? Just get him the ball, and you got two. DJ Moore and him on the opposite side of each other. I think that's opening up for that can open up a lot of things for whoever quarterback, but well, can't say whoever quarterback. It got to be Fields because you can't get Mari Harrison Jr. and Caleb. You can't do it.
got scenarios out there where you can, but
Well, you got to give up. You got to give up. You got to give up Fields, the ninth pick,
right,
and your pick, and future picks.
right.
But
No,
you know what? And this brings me to the question I was going to ask. And I wanted to see what y'all was going to say. The question I was going to ask: okay, if the Bears didn't have the first pick, they had the second. They had the second pick. Would you trade your second? Would you trade your second pick, Justin Fields, and a future pick to get Caleb Williams?
They
Would
would
you do?
not do it. I,
absolutely,
I I wouldn't do it, and I highly doubt that the Bears would do it with all of the trepidation right now, and they control the first pick. So that question almost answers itself.
absolutely not. I, I wouldn't give up. I wouldn't give up that kind of draft capital for one player like that.
Right.
But we expected the Bears to get this for Phil. I mean for Caleb Williams for the first pick.
Well, you got to remember the first, besides the Bears, the Redskins need a quarterback. The Patriots, they want and need a quarterback. I think if Phoenix was pressed, they would take a quarterback, but they have so much money invested in Kyler. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
in
Murray.
Tyler, yeah, and Murray. They won't do it. I mean, the first two. I mean, you look at not Green Bay. I'm sorry. You look at goodness gracious. You look at New England and Washington, they
Mhm.
clearly are taking quarterbacks. So, I mean, it's a no go. The Bears have a quarterback. They have a good quarterback. They have a quarterback with upside. And this is the crazy part, and we could touch on that later, how the narrative is that he's a bad quarterback with the Bears, but all I heard Chris Canty talking about is his upside with
Right.
another team. It's like, get out of here, dude. I don't like him. I listened to this dude at 5 o'clock on my drive in, and it's like this is the most bipolar person. He hates Justin Fields, but he feels that he's gonna be, he could have a solid borderline Hall of Fame career somewhere else.
And
You
that's
know,
what I don't understand. I don't understand that people won't say they need to get rid of Justin Field. He'll fit in good with Pittsburgh. Why he won't
yeah.
fit in good over in Chicago? Like
I think
why?
I think it's more of an indictment of Chicago, to be honest
These
with you.
talking heads, man. That's what I don't like about these talking heads. You honestly have not heard one person, not one. I don't. You can go down the list. You can go across the programming. You haven't heard one person say Phil's going to leave Chicago and be bad.
Right.
One.
This is true.
Not one person said let him go because he's no
He's not
good.
it. Right.
Right.
So
Right.
what are we talking about?
Just talk. Exactly what you said. Just talk. I
Every
Right.
mean, the fact that the Bears have never, I mean, the Bears have been set up well, but they've never had that 10-year residency at quarterback that put up, consistent good numbers. They've had spurts. They've had guys that have done well, but they've never had that guy that they've drafted, cultivated, turned into a multi-Pro Bowler, all pro. They've never had that. So at the same time, I don't understand the interest in outside of Chicago, why they want us to have that.
yeah,
Right.
You know,
And
I
see,
never
that's
understood that.
my other issue with drafting Caleb is this. It wasn't a good setup for Fields in Chicago. Uh, It wouldn't be a good setup for Caleb
William.
either because of the fact that most of the successful quarterbacks, Green Bay, even Mahomes, was able to sit out that first year under a veteran quarterback and to sit back and learn. So if you draft Caleb, I mean, who is he going to learn from? You got to just throw him to the fire, which we already know is not a recipe for success for quarterbacks in the NFL. With
Yeah.
few exceptions, but those are the exceptions.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me add this, and forgive me for jumping out of order.
You good?
Shane Waldron is a quote unquote pocket pass quarterback coach or offensive coordinator. That doesn't suit neither Caleb or Justin. So that hire doesn't even make sense when you
right.
think about it.
You look at it from that perspective. But from all accounts that I heard, they said that Shane Waldron is really good at adjusting and suiting his scheme,
Right.
the abilities of the quarterback. So that part is positive. I don't want some guy who's bullheaded and insist on making you be something you're not.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they say he's willing to adjust his scheme around the abilities of the quarterback, of his strengths. So I think if that's true, I think he'll be okay.
But something that was funny, I was listening to a talk show today, and they played clips from there. What's the coordinator for Kansas City now? That was the Bears coach,
Nagy.
Oh, Matt
right?
Nagy.
Nagy and Gessie saying that exact thing in their press conference. I can adjust to my talent, and we saw that they both didn't. So I'm just wondering, is it going to be a repeat, or is he actually going to be able to do it? But at least he has a track record of doing it, so hopefully that'll be the case
Yeah,
this time.
yeah. Waldron has a track record.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nagy, of course, doesn't, and doesn't
Nagy,
even call plays in
go ahead.
Kansas City.
What'd you say, James?
I said Matt Nagy walked in the door hating Trubisky though. I
Yeah, it
mean,
wasn't
now
his pick.
but he walked in the door not wanting Trubisky.
Yeah, because I think he was one of the one. He wanted Deshaun Watson, didn't he?
No, I don't think that's true. He was the one. He vocally, I mean, he adamantly said that he supported Trubisky. He had a high grade on Trubisky.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And he pretty much had to, because they weren't going to hire anyone who wasn't going to support their pick. So I mean, you say what you got to say to get the job. You know how it goes. You say what you got to say to get in, and then once you get in, you're like, okay, I'm here now.
Right.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, I mean, I think the thing is with Mr. Trubisky, it wasn't the fact that they got it; it's how they got him. It's like, and who was in front of him. You know what I'm saying? Who was in front of him, and how they got him. They traded to one spot up to get him.
yeah. When no one else was going to do that, no one else was going to draft him.
And like I said, it wasn't that Trubisky he was bad, but I mean, it wasn't the fact that it happened. It's just the way it happened. It's the way it happened. Like Watson was like everybody's like, oh, we're going to get Watson. The Bears select Mitch Trubisky. Like, what the
Yeah, that's not a conversation you want to have with me.
All right, yeah, because you could have stayed exactly where you were. You could have traded down and still got Trubisky.
Yeah, and that's what bothered us. That's what it was, because I mean, because they were at 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man,
San Francisco at that time was not taking a quarterback.
this
That
dude
was absolutely clear.
in college, 13 games. He started 13 games in college.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why everybody thought he was going to be Watson. I mean, when it didn't do it, it's like, oh, wow. And we didn't know nothing about Patrick. We heard Patrick Mahomes, but he wasn't ranked up there like that.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
But now everybody's saying that Caleb Williams could be the next Mahomes. Like,
how do you pass up the guy who won the Heisman and dog walked Alabama in the national championship game? And I mean, he dog walked them on him with his arm. So how do you pass up that guy? Now, of course, in his career now, he has some issues, but you pass on Deshaun Watson. You can't tell me he's too small. You can't tell me he didn't have the arm talent. You can't tell me he couldn't read defenses, or he's a running back. No, you couldn't tell me none of that about Deshaun Watson.
yeah.
Right. And we didn't even know about the massages at the time.
Right. And that's the thing. I mean, I tell people on our group, it's about I want to keep Fields, because like you were saying, Reese, I want to get that hard. You could get so much, you could build so much with that picks. Because if they're gonna give you picks, players, and you still could get your wide receiver and Marvin Harrison Jr., what are we talking about?
Right.
Fields is not bad at all. He's not a bum. He put players around him, and then you still. Here's my thing. I think I said this last time. If you trade with Washington and they give you a first pick next year, you're going to get a high pick next year, because Washington is not going to be good even if they got Caleb Williams. So you're going to be in a top 5 pick again next year. And that's what I understand. And they still got the Panthers pick for next year too. So you're still looking good.
Yeah, I look at it like this. You have the potential to have 6 first-round draft picks in the next 3 years. How do you pass that up? That's like some That's like some early '90s Dallas Cowboy Herschel Walker type.
Right.
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 You can potentially get 6 first-round draft picks in the next 3 years. I don't see pass that up.
Right. And see, that's why I also say go with that and go with Fields because of the fact that I know this year was supposed to be a proven year for Fields,
Mhm.
but get that talent around him. Let it be. It's almost a low, very low risk thing to do. So you keep Fields, you get the talent, right? You get Marvin Harris or one of those other top
Receivers.
receivers, right? Bring some free agents so the Bears still have money, right? So you still have Fields with another year on his contract that you have to pay him.
Mhm.
So at the end of the year, if it doesn't work out, now you know for sure, every excuse is gone because now you built around him, got him a line, got him this talent, and then you just don't resign him. And then, like James was saying, you still got another first round draft pick to see who the next can't miss prospect is next year because there's one every year. I
Right.
Right.
Or
Right.
two.
right.
Because the Heisman Trophy winner, Jalen, what's his name? Jalen Daniels, is it?
The
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
yeah, Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I mean, he's not even being talked about as like the like one or two. They say he's like the third quarterback, like, and he won the Heisman. So why he's not ranked up there higher? So I think, like I said, I think the ages have a lot to do with this going on with Caleb Williams, just building them up, paying these analysts to keep on talking about Caleb Williams like he's the Don, and like, come on, man, that's what's pissing me off right there. That's what's making me mad right there. But
I think he's extremely talented. But when you look at, if you ever just watch, I've watched games of his, but if you watch his highlight reels, it's normally off schedule creativity. You know what I'm saying? The things that people try to say this is why he looks like Patrick Mahomes, but those things aren't in the pocket timing, anticipatory throws. These are off schedule. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, that's kind of pretty much what Justin Fields does.
And my thing is the NFL is much faster than college, so he's good. And what happened with Notre Dame? In Notre Dame, I looked at that. It's coming.
He's smaller than Justin Fields. He's not as big. He's smaller and he's not as fast.
Right.
And see, that's what I said, in the last show, because I didn't know a whole lot about Williams. And so I just went and looked at highlights. And I'm like, these are the same highlights that I see on Fields, but Fields is doing this against the NFL talent, So, I mean, what are we talking about? Right.
Just give him the weapons. Like I said, you give him, they have to address the center position. My thing is, they could draft a center, but I prefer, this is just me, I prefer them to get a veteran center who could control the line, like instead of your line, because your center is the head, really. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Do you want a rookie to be put in that position to be the head of some veterans like the Jenkins and whoever else they get? You know what I'm saying? I won't mind drafting the one, but not too early. You know what I'm saying? I just want a veteran to coordinate the line. Tell people where they got to be.
And if they're not going to stick with Fields, they absolutely cannot have a rookie center. You can't have a quarterback and a rookie center unless you basically plan on tanking.
Yeah.
And just look at it. Also, what quarterback in the league wouldn't want to come and play for a team that has 2 number ones, wide receiver, a really good running game, and if the Bears continue to play like they plan, possibly a top 5 defense.
Yeah.
You can drop a quarterback in this team. Any quarterback will want to come here and play with a top 5 defense, 2 number 1 receivers, a good running game. You know what I'm saying? So This is a thing where it's, oh my God, Fields ain't it. Well, now the sky's falling. We can get somebody else if we get that haul, like Reese said, and bring in enough talent. Man, we can get quarterbacks. Quarterbacks will come here.
And if you do that, and if you do go get Caleb Williams, because we said that he's not as athletic as Fields, that means you gotta get you a bona fide running back. You know what I'm saying? Because if he's a pocket quarterback or whatever the case may be, he's not the one that gets out and like Fields get out and run. You got to get you a running back that you got to get a running back that
Well,
could
they
do
say
what Fields
Barkley
do.
want to come here.
Yeah, but I'd rather have Barkley and Fields in that back.
Right, yeah. I mean, either way.
so, but I don't know, man. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. Like I said, the combine is next week. Like I said, I told you guys, I'm going to that. I'm gonna go to maybe like two of those. It start next Thursday and to Sunday, I think, or Saturday. I'm going to when the receivers check in, and when the defense, I guess the defensive tackles or whatever. I'm gonna just go in there and just see what's going on. But
Hey, Ced, how many bedrooms you got?
I got enough room, bro.
I might have to swing through there. You said it's about a 3 hour drive. I might, I need internet though, because I work from home. So if you can like hook me up during the day.
Hey, that's how I got internet. I got it. You know what I'm saying? But the next topic we're gonna go into right now is I want to talk about the receivers. The receivers that's up in the draft right now. We have you have Marvin Harrison. You have Rome. Adumze, and you have the guy from LSU.
Malik Neighbors.
Out of those three, let's just say, I mean, because if the Bears do trade, if the Bears do keep the first pick and get Caleb Williams or whoever they get, out of those, really there's two receivers because Marvin Harris will be gone because I know Phoenix would be grabbing him. Out of those two, who would you prefer to see on the opposite side of DJ Moore?
I'll go ahead. I'm say Rome Odunze. And the reason why I say Rome Odunze because Malik Neighbors is a yet beast. He's a yards after the catch beast. But the problem is he fits exactly in the same vein as a DJ Moore. So I want a catch radius guy. I want a 50-50 ball guy. I want a 3rd and 5 and body these small cornerbacks kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? I want to have two different dimensions from my two wide receivers. I don't want two guys having the same kind of ability. Don't get me wrong, great ability, but I have my quarterback throwing to basically two guys that mirror one another. I want him to be able to know on 3rd and 5, I know I can just throw it up to him or just throw it to this guy in the corner of the end zone. And he's gonna moss somebody. You know what I'm saying? So me personally, I would take the bigger receiver, which is Rome Odunze.
Okay. What you thinking, Terry?
Me personally, I mean, I stop at Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't even I know that I mean, I'm sorry. I don't care after that. I mean, I know that they say the Neighbors and what's his name? Adunze are they're not comparable, but they're good. They can go in and they can plug and play. But Marvin Harrison Jr. is graded out right now as the best player in the 2024 draft. Yeah. And basically they slapping a gold jacket on him right now. Man. So I mean, if they can't, the only way, right? Well, there are two ways, of course, that they can get the quarterback that they want with the receiver that they want. It's just going to be costly. Yeah. And as a team that's trying to build, do you want to do that? Because what I think is right now, Virginia McCaskey is 101 years old. Is she going to wait another 3 years, 4 years for a rookie quarterback and a rookie receiver to gel and bring, an NFL title to Chicago? I think the clock, nobody's talking about that. Nobody's added that variable. But I know that a couple of years ago, she mentioned it was important before she died. So I'm pretty sure that resonates through the building somewhere, but not enough people are talking about that variable.
Yeah.
That's a great call.
Yeah.
Reese, what you think? Who are you thinking?
I was going go assuming that Marvin Harrison was gone, but I just like my mind started working and I'm thinking we can control the draft, right? So we can trade off that #1 pick and then trade it to Washington, right? We know Washington want that quarterback. Then it's going to be some other people that's going to be thirsty for a quarterback. I trade down again to whoever want to get a quarterback and then take Harrison with that third pick or that pick that's after that. Once again, I'm getting a haul. I'm stacking my team. Like I said, I looked at. Well, I'm gonna shift a little bit, but even with this, Mahomes has that Jordan factor. There was a lot of teams that didn't win rings because Jordan was in the way, right?
Mhm.
But they got there. And so I look at what San Francisco is doing, surrounding Purdy with all that talent, and they still got there. And it
Mhm.
was a close game. Could have went either way. A couple of bad decisions by the coaches. So once again, I'm all about the haul, stacking it. Follow my plan. You can get Marvin Harrison. We have Justin Fields. We had a haul. We're controlling this whole thing, baby.
Yeah, so you want that hard because that's why I'm at with it, and that's why I'm at with it. That's why I want them to really keep Fields and just like you said, if you could trade back twice to get that, you still getting draft picks for next year too.
Man.
And you still got money. They got like $70 million under the cap that they could actually spend. And that's why I want to get into the next topic was really the free agent wide receivers, the free agent wide receivers. Let's just say, well, you don't see nothing. Terry, you check your head. What's going on?
Bro, when Darnell Mooney is listed as the number 11 top free agent in the NFL, that lets you know that there's really nothing out there. He's the number 11th rated free agent. So I mean, Evans. I mean, how long, and how much money do you have to give Evans?
Yeah,
That's one. And everybody else is if you
Higgins.
let Moon Higgins. I mean, T Higgins, and I mentioned that T Higgins is at the top of my board. But I mean, his health is an issue. But I mean, if you can get him, if you can bring him in and he stays healthy, assuming that you trade the picks and you bring the Halls in and you bring in Marvin Harrison at the second or third pick or wherever you trade back to. I mean, me personally, and then like you say, with the cash that they have, I mean, you could almost plug in. I mean, T Higgins is just a perfect fit. I mean, if we're going in that route, but I'm sorry, I don't mean to deviate from that.
No, I'm saying you said T if you say T Higgins, Marvin Harris, and more.
Yeah. And that remember that can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about a guy, a receiver, the cap for a receiver, I think is around 12 million at the high end. He's not getting 12 million.
No.
And the crazy part, you're gonna pay Darnell Mooney the same that you're gonna pay a more talented receiver that can actually get open. Is just not healthy. That's my problem with that. Mooney could not. He couldn't get open. They talked about he's fast. He can run any route, but he has no separation skills.
Yeah. And you know what? I wanted to bring this up. I don't think we'll be having this conversation if Claypool would have been playing like they thought he would have been playing. We wouldn't even talk about receivers or whatever. He kind of messed up the whole because when they went into training camp, they figured like this is gonna be the A and B, your receivers right here. You know what I'm saying? And three. Moore, Claypool, and Mooney.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the three, only one survived. You know what I'm saying? So we wouldn't even have this conversation if those two would have came and played like they would have played. Claypool was out. What? How many games he played with the Bears?
He played 4 games. No, he played a total. What did he play? I know it was 4 games this season, and it was like I think maybe 6 last season because that was a deadline trade move.
He kept on getting hurt though.
Yeah, and remember, they didn't win a game while he was on the roster at all.
Yeah.
And Miami didn't win a game before they benched him. So he's a curse.
Yeah. But like I said, I think that was a deal that they thought they had something and it kind of backfired because they traded a second pick. Oh, was it a second pick to get Claypool?
It was a second pick. It was their second pick. And it was not a bad trade. It was bad because he didn't show up.
Right.
And I mean, hindsight, you can always have 20/20 vision in hindsight of situations like that. Of course, would they have done it? No, if they had a second chance to do it, they wouldn't have done it. But I mean, you go out there and you take a chance the same way, and not to deviate, the same way they threw that second pick out there for Montez Sweat, and everybody went nuts, and then found out that it was the best trade that they've made in years. So
yeah.
So
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, I think, like I said, but I think the Claypool thing. I think they thought they had something going into the season, and when it just didn't pan out, it just didn't pan out. That's why I'm thinking if they get a receiver with Fields, you get Harrison in that. He's not a Claypool, so he's one of those guys that you look at like, okay, we could build with him regardless of if DJ Moore gets hurt or whatever. Knock on wood that he don't. We still got something. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way I'm looking at it with looking at that aspect of it. But they also mentioned Curtis Samuel, who's actually real cool with who's
With DJ.
actually well, with DJ Moore. That's his kids. I want to say his kids' godfather. He's
Mhm.
godfather of his kids or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, what y'all think about him? Maybe being a plug in, even if you do get a good receiver in the draft.
For the right price, I'll take a Curtis Samuel for the right price because he already is already pre-existing chemistry with him and DJ Moore. You know, they are really good friends. They're really good. So that would be a great fit. But I would say this: um, anybody else, I'm looking for somebody to come in as a secondary guy. Now, as much as I love T. Higgins, and I was banging a table for T. Higgins the last 2 years, like the Bears got to go and get him. They got to go and
Right.
get him. But I'll just say this: Steve Smith went and talked with Marvin Harrison Sr. and they was watching junior practice. And Steve Smith said, I didn't want to say nothing. He said, but Marvin Harrison Sr. looked at him and said, he's better than I was when I was in my prime now.
Wow.
Smith said, I'm glad you said it because I didn't want to tell you. Now, we're talking about a guy who's a Hall of Famer. Marvin Harrison Sr. is a Hall of Famer. He already acknowledged that his son is bigger, stronger, faster, with better hands than him. How do you not get that guy?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting, man. Like I said, I mean, I wish that, but I'm kind of glad the free agency signing is before the draft because then you could really see how they're gonna actually draft,
Right.
depending on who they get in the free agency. Because you got defensive tackle that haven't mentioned, Daniel Hunter from Minnesota.
Right.
He's been
Danielle
mentioned.
Hunter. Yeah, Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, Daniel Hunter. He's been mentioned a lot as a pickup for the Bears. So. And that's what I'm saying. You could actually that defense would be crucial. Crucial. You get a guy like that on the opposite end of Sweat. You know, even though I've been pitching for Chase Young, man, I know y'all about to kill me on that one.
You know what? I just need him to play every down, man.
Yeah, and like I said, he's cool. He's cool. Justin Fields too. If Justin Fields was to stay, I think even though they played opposite, offense defense or whatever, I think it'd probably motivate him to prove. He got to get like a prove it deal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Not no crazy. And the only reason the Bears didn't get him because I think Washington wanted the second pick or something like that, and the Bears like, no, we'll give it for Sweat, and that's how that ended up happening because they originally was trying to get Chase Young, but they asking price was too much. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to see what happened with that. But I added a Hunter and Chase, depending on the money, because I don't want them to spend a lot, but they gotta sign JJ.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
That should be their first offseason move.
Yeah, but you put a tag on him, you go piss him off. Piss people off, like tags.
No,
Yeah.
they got the money to sign him to his deal and be done with it. Forget all the tag stuff. You don't need to. You don't have that many guys up. You don't have any guys up, for cash. Next year and the year after that, they're gonna start running in the process with Gordon and what's his name?
Brisker.
Britzker. Yeah. So that's the other side of drafting high, with tandems that come in, two guys that come in the same draft year that produce. That's going, that could change the dynamics. You're gonna have to, have some hard decisions when it comes to that. But I mean,
Well,
the
that's
Bears,
Well, that's why you got to get the haul. You got to keep going getting draft picks because these guys going to want to get paid. So
Yeah,
you could plug in place as they want to leave or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely, absolutely.
And actually signing JJ, man, signing Jalen Johnson, it's it's bigger than just signing him because of what he produced on the field. It also sends a message to the rest of the team that if you do what you're supposed to do and you fulfill your promise to us and get the numbers we want, we'll take care of you.
Oh
Because
yeah,
you know and I get it, a new regime. They got rid of Khalil. They let Roquan go for basically peanuts. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
no, I wouldn't say it was peanuts when you
well,
look at
not
what
peanuts,
they got
but
back.
they send in a message to the team that you know everybody's expendable.
Yeah.
It's important to sign one. The last first round draft pick that the Bears actually signed to another contract, a second contract, was Brian Urlacher. Was the last
Mm. Wow.
Yeah,
was the last player that the Bears signed to a second contract after the deal.
they have high turnover. That's been their problem.
And that's why we can't, and that's part of the reason why they can't create continuity and sustainability.
And
So
that and the funny part about that, that's what they preach. That's their tag word. That yeah, continuity and whatever the other term was. Like
Right.
no, y'all, that's the anti.
Well,
Y'all
it,
that's
doing
when they
everything.
want to be cheap and not pay for a new coach. That's what they use continuity.
Yeah, but if you do
And
that, I mean, but then if you keep on turning the tape, turning your cars over or whatever, so other players go look at that like they ain't real, they don't want to win, and you got your top notch free agents like we ain't going over there, So you got to keep because like I said, so many NFL players, current and past, are saying if they get rid, what it feels, what they doing, you know what I'm saying? They got to keep him. They got to if you if you do the opposite and get rid of Fields and bring in Caleb, a lot of teams go look at that like, what are they doing? What are they doing? Because a lot of players that played against Fields like, man, like, because even when they played against Miami, the coach was like, telling him to cut it out. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
We got coach telling you to cut it out. You doing something right.
yeah,
exactly,
Because
exactly.
he was running all over them, you know what I'm saying, telling him to cut it out. So I don't know, man. I just want something that we could groom and we could watch them grow like we did Roses. He got hurt. I just want that player that was like, man, he was from the beginning to end like Walter Payton. I won't buy nobody jersey ever but Walter Payton because he's only one in that stayed with the Cubs. I mean, stayed with the Bears from beginning to end. Never played with
Right.
nobody else. I won't
yeah,
buy nobody jersey with a name on it because you never know when they leaving.
yeah.
Or in some cases, they leaving.
right, right. Right. It's kind of hard, man. You get a Zach Levine jersey, then he started tripping, man, want to get traded. You be like, man,
And
now you got to.
and I'm glad you mentioned Zach Levine because it kind of made me think of, you know, Chicago front offices has always had to be the smartest guys in the room.
Mhm.
These way off the wall draft picks of people like, who is this guy? Because
Right,
they're always out to try to prove that they're the smartest guy in the room.
right.
Trubisky, that was that pick. That Trubisky pick was them thinking they're the smartest guy in the room. Even back when they drafted like Leonard Floyd, turned out to be a good player, but he wasn't. His value wasn't where they picked him at.
Right.
Right.
No,
You know what I'm saying? Pat Will, he didn't even start for the college team he played for, and you draft him 4 overall. You
Yeah.
and we got a bad history of Chicago front offices trying to be the smartest guys in the room and picking the wrong people at the
Yeah.
overvaluing people.
this is true.
And then they try to when you try to get them, and you figure like other teams try to get them, like we could do something with them. Then you overprice them. Like, no, we want 2 first-round picks for Alex Caruso. Come on, man.
Now you just like we ain't trading Luau Dang for Kobe.
Right.
That was the wild one. That was the wild one.
As that no, we ain't getting rid of Dang for Kobe. Are you nuts?
Right.
But in fairness, Kobe did say, "Why the hell are y'all that I want to go play with Dang?" So
Right.
Right.
that was
He
Yeah.
did
kind of
say
one of
that.
the
Yeah.
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 But I mean, it's Chicago, man. We we as fans, we gotta accept it because there's nothing we can do about it. Because I mean, we could say stop going to the game, stop watching them, but you're not gonna do that. You're not
But you
gonna
know
do it.
what? In that light, the Bears. I mean, and I'll give Poles because his first two draft classes have panned out. I
Yes.
mean, when you look at them top to bottom, you look at how many guys that he's drafted that are still productive, players on the team. I mean, he's had a couple two good draft classes. I mean, he's scrutinized for the Valus Jones deal, but I mean, Valus is Valus. I mean, you're not every draft pick is not going to pan out, and if
Yeah,
Valus is the only, I mean, I guess because of where he was drafted, the fact that you traded up to get him, but the verdict is still out on him. He's still with the team, and he's only going into his third year. So, I
yeah.
mean, but you look at the run that he had. I mean, especially 2002. I mean, I think they're like 8 guys on that team that are productive members, and not just taking up space, but actually productive guys on the squad.
Right.
And then
Because
last year,
one of the guys on the defensive line, he actually started to play towards the end of the year.
Dominic was his
Yeah,
draft pick for Dominic Robinson.
yeah.
Yeah,
Start
I mean, he's good. Yeah, and I mean, you look at Dexter. Dexter, he graded
Dexter.
out well.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, he had. I mean, Tariq Stevens is going to be a monster.
Yes.
I mean, Tariq Stevens at one corner and Jalen Johnson at the other corner.
that's what they
I
was talking
mean,
about.
you ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And then you got what's his name at the nickel. You got Gordon. No,
Going,
Gordon is
Brisket.
Gordon is safety. It's Brisker is the
Yeah,
nickel. But I mean, they are all out there. I mean, they got a solid secondary. They do need to go out and get a strong safety. I
that's
mean,
about
they
to
do
ask.
and they they
I'm about
they
to,
do, but they don't because I think they got it in house. But I think instead of moving guys, because you leave him at the nickel and you bring the strong safety in and leave everybody at their position. I think yeah, you rock out
And
yeah,
I personally think because the secondary, as good as they are, and I think they're one of the top 5 secondaries in the whole league.
easily. Yeah,
And so, but I think it's important to bring in a veteran safety because all those guys are so young.
yeah.
And you will want one of your veteran guys to be a safety. As much as Jalen being your veteran corner, he's still 24. I
Oh
think
yeah,
bringing
yeah.
veteran safety would really solidify them. Like I would love to get Antoine Whitfield in here from the Buccaneers. I would love to get Winfield in here.
Is
how
he a
about
free
the old
agent?
man?
He a
Hmm?
free agent? He a free
I
agent?
don't.
Yeah.
How about the old man Cal Duggar from the New England? I
Hmm.
mean, that's a perfect. I mean, he's a perfect bridge
He
to what
was
they're trying to
mentioned.
do.
He was mentioned
Yeah,
about being a pickup or whatever. But I
I
mean,
mean, because
with that being said, I mean, even they got rid of Jackson. Would you bring him back for less?
Eddie Jackson,
Eddie
Yeah,
Jackson.
you could, but I don't think. I mean, pride is a big deal in pro sports, and I don't know if he wants to do that. Because remember, going back to Urlacher, when the Bears parted ways with Urlacher, it was a matter of them paying him $2 million more than what they were willing to,
gotcha.
and he said, I'll just go and retire. So
No, yeah,
you have to want to do that.
yeah, guys will play for less money somewhere else than to take a bit.
Absolutely.
Right. But then also, he was kind of like the weak link on the secondary last year. I'm looking at a couple of those games where they blew those big leads. He gave up two of those touchdowns. He's supposed
Yeah.
to be the veteran, and he's the one looking
Right.
confused out there.
You know what?
Well,
In the secondary who wouldn't tackle.
say it again.
I said he's the only one in the secondary who wouldn't tackle.
Right.
And if you're gonna be a safety man, you got to come in and lay some wood.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
You
strong safety at
got
that.
linebacker.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's why Brisker.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's why Brisker plays that role so good because you can bring him up to the line, and I mean, he plays that monster role very well.
Yes.
Right. Yep.
Well,
Support and go in and rush. He's a good
Yeah,
rusher too.
I think what we could do is we're gonna put a cap on it. I think next time we come on, I think we'll know a lot more because the combine to be done, then the free agency start. I think that starts like in beginning of March or middle of March.
Yeah, it's the end. It's the end. It's close to the end of March where the new season end. I think it's March, April. I'm trying to, and I was listening to it, and it was in my head. The signing dates start the end of March, but the actual contract years start the first week of April, like April the 3rd or something like that.
Wait, when is
So
the
you
draft
can.
there?
The draft is in April, the middle of April, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, said,
Yeah.
can I make one quick point
Yeah.
since we won't be meeting until after Black History Month?
What's that? Go ahead. Go
Right.
ahead.
So this has to do with the Bears. So one of the guys we've been talking about with this whole importance of the Bears' relevance in the off season is Pose. Pose was I think our first black GM, and I don't know if we paid a whole lot of attention, but a couple of years ago the Bears bought in a DEI leader. Her name is Tanisha Wade,
Mhm.
and she was very significant in making sure that the Bears got some diversity in their coaching staff, and not only coaching staff but the front office. And so we got polls, but then also more recently we didn't talk about it, but the Bears signed their first woman coach, and she's a black woman, Jennifer King. So Black History, those are my 2 points for Black History:
That's
that
what's
DEI
up.
leader and the first black woman coach.
Yep.
Thanks for bringing that up. That was good. That was good. That was good catch right there. Yeah, I have posted in the group too. Whatever. I don't know too much about her. Whatever. You know what I'm saying. I haven't did any um, um, reading up on her yet. I was gonna do that, but she was she was with another team, wasn't she? Or no?
Yeah.
She was with the Chiefs.
She okay. Okay. Okay.
She was a quarter. She played in a women's league. She was a running back and a quarterback, and
Mm,
she's been with a couple of different organizations. I want to say the Chiefs, and well, it was the Chiefs, and it was another organization that she was part of.
that's
She,
gonna be
So
interesting.
she's been around.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
She's a running backs coach, right? Like the assistant running backs coach.
Yeah, that's what. Yep.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. It's I ain't gonna lie. I mean, they hired a lot of brothers and sisters this year. There's a lot of brothers and sisters came through that door.
Right.
Hey, free agency starts sooner than we thought. So the league year starts March 7th, but you can make agreements on the 5th and sign guys on the 13th of March. So
Wow.
Yeah,
that's right around the
yeah.
corner.
I'll be going to give me a defensive end at 12.
And I'm
Hey,
gonna
and they
follow
have to
that with a
practice
veteran center.
and they have to
No, no, no.
unrestricted.
So a
Yeah, so unrestricted. Go ahead, I'm sorry, guys. Go.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead,
No, I
Terry.
was saying the restricted free agency period started yesterday, which was February 20th.
right, because
So yeah,
they can franchise tag.
Franchise.
yeah.
Okay. So let's
So
start
yeah,
from
this
Tuesday.
is
That's from Tuesday to next Tuesday, ain't it?
yeah, this is about to take off real fast.
Mhm.
So we'll get through the combine and basically right after the combine, free agency starts.
So I think we should come back in 2 weeks. 2 weeks,
After
whatever
at
y'all.
free agency, yeah, I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Whenever it is, I'm with it, bro.
Oh yeah, definitely.
James, I mean, you want to come back on again? Because Marcus
Yeah,
should be back in.
I just got to make sure I don't talk too much.
No, no, no. Like I said, if
Oh
y'all
no,
if y'all got some things, you know what I'm saying, because I come up with the like far as a topic with, but if y'all got something, by all means, bring it up. You know what I'm saying?
I
Yeah,
think free agency is we could just run it all on free agency
Oh yeah.
and then pre draft stuff because some of this stuff is gonna make us upset and some of it is gonna make us happy.
So let's so when free agency start? You say in 2 weeks?
It starts the March 5th is when they could.
Start
Okay,
talking.
through the February 20th through the 5th is tag season. So after it's the March 7th is when you can make agreements, and March 13th is when you can actually do signings. You can sign guys.
and you know they're going to be hot and heavy starting on the first day of free agency when they can claim guys. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I'm interested in that Chris Jones situation because I don't think
Oh
he didn't get
yeah.
tagged. He didn't get tagged, right? Well, I mean
Yeah.
no,
they got into yeah.
because
They got
They
they
exercise
pay him.
yeah, they exercised the option, and that's just to give them freedom to tag him, and they'll probably wait to the last minute. they'll probably try to do one or two things. They'll probably try to trade him. I don't see them really franchising him.
Well,
No.
they said the Bears is probably franchise JJ, but that's giving more time so they can sign them, get them
But
more time to negotiate with them.
yeah, but that's dumb. You're gonna pay him the top three, a top three cornerback. If you view him as a top three cornerback, just pay him. Just give
Yeah,
him, the 5-year contract
yeah.
and be done with it.
So if they start on the 7th, y'all want to come back on the 14th, that Thursday?
Yep, because that's exactly when teams have to get under the salary cap. Yeah.
Yeah.
14th, March 14th. So let's lock it in, and we'll be back March 14th. Everything we should know, a lot is going on. Should know a lot's going on by then, because after the combine, you hear about what they later, because heard the Bears supposed to make a decision, not make a decision, but you'll know what they're doing after the combine anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we'll come back March 14th, and then we have a lot to talk about. And we're gonna have to get into the Bulls action sooner or later. sooner or later, you know what I'm saying? But football is just taking over, even in the spring, going into the spring. That's kind of weird.
Yeah. Especially in Chicago.
Right. So like I said, we'll come back March 14th, and we'll have a whole bunch to talk about it.
Yep.
All right.
Sound like a plan.
All right, y'all
All
take
right,
it easy,
guys.
brothers. Yep.
All right.